there aren't any real-time mechanism of coordination and of content filtering which alert us to this kind of content. The effects are visible only when something happens on the ground. Now, it's a thin line when we expect the state to prevent harm, and then to prevent this harm, you would need to have mechanisms which continuously sort of scrape and search the web for this kind of information. It here also borders on some kind of surveillance. It will be alleged that this is a state surveillance on social media. But to prevent harm, you have to prospectively identify what is harmful. It may be regarding child porn, it may be regarding revenge porn, it may be terrorist propaganda. But there needs to be built in place a mechanism where this is prospectively identified. And here, platforms need to take liability. They need to ensure with the state that the commercial service which they are providing for profit does not result into harm to the vulnerable. So there are various kind of sections against which mass protest may be organized or violence may be orchestrated using these platforms. So here we need a real-time mechanism of identifying this content, and then a real-time mechanism also to take up these kind of complaints with these platforms, either block them, take them down, preserve the evidence, or do all what is legally necessary to prevent harm, including identifying the perpetrators by conducting forensics. This again is difficult because if you go to any of these platforms, they talk about them being subject to only two things: their company policies and Section 230C of the Communications Decency Act of the US. The Communications Decency Act of the US actually gives them a carte blanche. It's absolutely free of any kind of civil and criminal liability. However, in India, we have intermediary guidelines which provide them a safe harbor subject to certain conditions, which then comes to the point of view of removal of this content. But the removal time is still broadly around 3 days. In times where people can gather within hours, a content removal of 3 days does not seem to be a sufficient enough measure which can help us curb these crimes in real time. All children that we know are digitally literate and they are using some social media of some other kind. This has also led them positively to adapt to better means of education, like Google Classroom, or today as we see video conferencing in times of lockdown has offered a chance to take virtual classes. But this is also leading to various things wherein, misconfigured Zoom classes, somebody has entered and then Zoom bombing, put out things which were pornographic in nature. Some kind of cyber literacy is essential. So to children, one should talk, one should tell them what to share, what not to share, what is the extent of sharing. In government, the responsibility of a CISO is much more because you're dealing with public data. Sometimes I do contend that the understanding of technology within the government may not be as good as what it is in the free private sector. And there may be limitation on resources also. We remain in touch with freelance researchers. There are a lot of people who send us proofs of concepts and vulnerabilities and sort of proof of concept of hacks that lead to leakage of public information and data from our sites and our apps. But the thing is that eternal vigilance is needed. Eternal vigilance is needed. Similarly, the government should up its game by designing apps which are much more secure than those are used in the private sector. Because if in a fiduciary relationship or otherwise in a corporate space, it's just a breach of a contract. But with the state, it is different. The state is a custodian of citizens' rights, and it is bound on duty to protect the rights of its citizens. So I think a greater amount of vigilance has to be exercised by those in the government. They have to bring in security by design, and they have to ensure that they are very careful about any possibilities of security breaches. So they need to learn what infrastructure they are operating, continuously find if there are any 0 days or any vulnerabilities which have been put there in the wild, and also have a system of continuously hardening your infrastructure. So it is time that especially financial apps, fintech, banks, they up their game. They introduce security by design. They get to secure coding. They should continuously stress test their framework. They should do red teaming. They should have continuous threat hunting. They should look for threat intelligence. Similarly, they should look at better and better frameworks which have privacy built in, like encryption of the data from the go, encryption of data in rest, encryption of data in motion. Also, in case of any breach, then they should have a breach protocol as to how you would notify people, how would you compensate them, what are the legal liabilities you would face. So this all needs to be done. I think somewhere we do not have compulsory reporting norms. We will need to have compulsory reporting norms. And then we have to be eternally vigilant about, if we are hosting any critical information infrastructure, we have to be eternally vigilant about the rights of the people who are using it. So it again basically comes to principles of cyber hygiene applied to various scenarios. For an individual, it can be an awareness about not clicking links, not downloading anything, not forwarding anything, not falling a prey to phishing and vishing attacks and social engineering. At the enterprise, it may be backups, secure configurations, alerting your employees, finding out where your key assets are, properly hardening them, looking out for information in the darknet, other places where your vendor data or your customer data is being leaked. So depending upon the kind of infrastructure, your security posture would be configured. And I think it is time that we do these tabletop exercises, try and understand and instill a sense of security in everyone. So while you're working at home, every day the company should send some security awareness material to people, so that right from video conferencing to using company email and other collaboration platforms, one should not become a victim, or one should not become a cause from which somebody is pivoting and compromising the company infrastructure as a whole. So it's time to be very careful, because this is a time when there's too much load on company resources and the internet, and on any kind of platforms. They're being stress tested. People are very vulnerable to social engineering operations due to COVID. It's an unnatural situation where people have been logged in and working from homes. It's time to be more vigilant. It's time to be cyber aware. It's time to practice better cyber hygiene.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.